It's very easy to make international student a scapegoat that they are the reason for housing crisis. But look at the stats and see if that's true. India is the second highest migrant population growing in Australia.
Having simplified explanations for complex issues is extremely dangerous.
You feel the loneliness to the core.
Awesome, guys. Welcome to another episode with Shima Ghafoor. On this week's episode, we've got a really special guest, Devarshi Desai, who's come to Australia without knowing literally anyone, built one of the largest community of international students in Australia, and is absolutely smashing it with the content game and helping them through their PR, citizenship process, student visas, and all of that. Now, here I'm going to ask questions that I feel international students would really want to ask him. Coming to Australia, new. But if you do have any questions, please put them in the comments below. I'm going to get Devarshi again, and we're going to run through the questions.
Let's do it.
Awesome, guys. Devarshi Desai, thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome. So just a bit of context, we connect on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
We've been following his content on Internash, Studynash, all that kind of stuff, right? So I just wanted to run me through, obviously not the childhood, but coming to Australia without knowing anyone.
Yeah.
How did you manage that? What was the process like? Just run us through that.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. It's super exciting. Love the work and the hustle that you put into every single week. I think that is something that even I need to do, even after creating content for so long. So great job doing that. Coming to Australia, dude, like it's all of our story, right? When we come here, we don't know people, but one thing that all of us come with is a lot of dreams, right? Because if we didn't have them, we would rather just stay where we are, comfortable with our parents and friends that we grew up with. So yeah, that's exactly where I came here. And one thing that happened was I just didn't know anyone and anything. So one thing I realized, and probably like, you can relate to this, is that every international student, when they come to Australia, they're reinventing the wheel. What do I mean by that? Is that how do I make friends? How do I find accommodation? I'm asking few people. How do I find a job? How do I find a job in my field? Okay, everybody's doing this by themselves and figuring stuff out by themselves. There's nobody to actually tell you that, hey, I have figured it out. I worked super hard, did this, and if you do this, this is one way to do it. So at least you know one, and that's less work for new international students, right? And I didn't have anyone to tell me that. But then, similar to you, why you're doing this podcast, similar to that, I thought if I just share my story, if it helps one person, it's still better, right? So that's how the whole content thing started. And also, I didn't have a job.
Yeah.
So then I have so much time.
Free time to make a lot of content. Yeah.
Then I was like, may as well do something.
Same reason I started as well. Yeah.
Exactly, right? And we get to learn so many different things, obviously. And yeah, so that's how this whole thing started. And initially what I did was I wrote down all the questions that I had. As a new international student in Australia, what are the questions do I have? And then found answers to those. Called friends, called people in different cities, understood like if everybody has similar problems or not, or if they have better solutions than I have. And then started scripting it and then started creating content about it.
Done.
So I think that's how it started. And one thing that I try and do is that if I have a problem and I try and solve it for myself, then I see that if that problem exists for other people as well, then why not just solve it for them?
100%.
So yeah, that's how exactly content gets started.
I love that. And I think like that's kind of a lot of people's journey as well. They come and they're trying to find solutions and they can't really find answers. And I have a lot of friends here as well who are actually supporting us, who've seen your content and be like, oh, actually he's talking about something that really matters, that actually provides value, right?
Yeah.
So I just wanted to kind of double down on that content and starting Studynash and Internash, right?
Yeah.
Did you have to quit your job or did you have to, how many hours did you have to spend? How hard was it to build the community? I mean, by the way, he's gone to about 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, which is not an easy thing by any means, right? So just talk us through that. What made that flip to be like, all right, let's take it commercial, right? Let's pump all our time. Let's quit our job. Let's go into it. What was that breaking point? And run us through that if you can.
Yeah, and I think this would really help those people who are even thinking to create content, because I have so many friends who says that they're going to create content, but then we don't end up actually doing it. Right? So it's that switch. One thing that I did was that I didn't really care about what people were going to say. So it's not exactly I didn't care, but at least I put it out there. So initially, Obviously, I wasn't so savvy at camera. It's like new thing. Hesitating a lot on camera. And then I had few people make fun of me at the university. So I studied
Right.
Monash. I
So
was
this
doing
was
my
in the start,
master's.
when
Yeah,
you're
yeah, yeah.
making, yeah,
This
right.
is like 2018 or 19 when I just started. And then few people are like, "Oh, we saw that. Why do you use this word so much?" So the word that I was using was actually a lot. So
Oh, yeah.
every few, because you're thinking you have some word, right? So either you have either you have and that you add, either you have like the word that I was using was like actually this is what I can do. Actually, this is what I get. Actually, so then the next day it's like, so actually what do you do? I was like, bro, like I get it,
But
but
it
still,
stings. It
yeah,
stings. Yeah,
right.
yeah, it stings.
So that happened, and then but the other way I took it was, which is like cool. Now I talk to you when there's 100K subs.
Yeah, that was fuel. That
Yeah,
was
that's
fuel.
it. It's like, yo, okay, I get it. First of all, you're right.
Yeah.
Because if the content was really good, they wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
So which means that there's something to learn.
Yeah.
Accept that. But then now you're in it.
Yeah.
So if you're in it and still you're not giving 100%, what is the point to be in it?
Yeah.
Right? So now you have to go all in.
Yeah.
So anyway, I didn't quit my job immediately.
Yeah.
I started creating content. It was a weekend thing.
Yeah.
And just was putting 1 or 2 videos out every single week. Because they were 5-minute videos. Doesn't take long.
Like long form YouTube 5-minute video.
5-minute video, yeah.
On YouTube, mainly.
Yeah, because at that time TikTok didn't exist.
Right. So this was way before.
This is 2018.
That's
Yeah.
quite of an early into
Yeah.
the game.
Exactly,
Yes,
right?
yes,
So YouTube was the only thing at
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah.
So did that, and then just again, one thing was, does this add value to somebody who's watching this?
Yeah.
Because that's what it boils down to, which is like you are asking somebody to spend time of their life, right? That's the only limited thing that we have, which is the time here. So if you're asking that and then you don't provide value, they're not going to give you time. It's as simple as
That's
that.
true. That's true.
Yeah. So I started with that and then started solving problems, and it just fueled me. And I love numbers. I don't know about you. Probably like you. Do you check your views every
Oh,
day?
all the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
Right. I love
Every
numbers.
5 seconds. Yeah.
Exactly. So if I'm posting a story, what did my views were yesterday? How are my views today? What do I want tomorrow? And then having a strategic approach to it. And then similar, like for example, you're expert at sales, right? If I just tell you sell this, you're like, yeah, but then I tell you sell 8 pieces of this. And then suddenly you have a benchmark to hit. So 1,000 subscribers become a benchmark. First obviously starts with 100, then 500. First 10 subscribers was myself. So my university email ID, my personal email ID, my friend's email ID, my mom's email ID, everything. It's like first 15 subs. That's me. And then all the comments also I was doing from different email IDs, thinking that if there is a way that I can just, or somebody looks at it and sees that, oh, there's like 5 comments here. They don't know that I've done the 5 comments. But if there is something that would work, I am not going to leave a single stone unturned.
100%.
Right? Otherwise, again, it's like, now you've decided to do this. There's no, there's this, I don't know who says it, but just like, there's a quote that says, don't half-ass it. That just, if you're doing it,
going
just,
in, go all.
yeah, like, what's the worst that's going to happen?
With the subscribers, was the first 1,000 the hardest, or do you think getting to 100,000 was harder? Like, what do you reckon?
First 1,000 to 5,000 is the hard part.
How long did that take to get?
I actually had days that I had written, but fortunately, I was like really fortunate. But I think I hit first 2,090 days.
Not that's pretty
very quick,
solid.
yeah.
That's pretty solid.
Here's the thing, though. I studied algorithm before even uploading my first video.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I studied how the platform works.
Right.
I didn't just upload anything.
Got it.
I knew the format that a video should be. I knew a few things that I want to convey. I didn't have the style to do it, but I knew what I have to convey.
What do you mean by style?
Like I wasn't like cool on camera.
Right,
It's like,
right.
yo, you know who it
Yes,
is.
yes,
Like
yes,
it was
yes,
nothing
yes.
like
Yeah,
that. It was
yeah.
like this dude who's trying something, like English isn't that good, like studied in like Gujarati medium school or whatever. So that's what so which came later. Now you start a camera and it's like,
It's natural, yeah.
Right, it comes, but then initially it wasn't there. But I knew what I wanted to convey.
Got
Right,
it.
so I studied algorithm first. When I say study, obviously you watch 10 different YouTube videos. Right?
Yes.
That's how you study.
Right.
And so I knew what and changes I wanted. And then with every video that I was uploading, I was making changes. She's like, okay, last was 3 minutes. Let's do 5. Just experimenting different things, and really talking to the audience as well. So like asking people to comment, and that's my hook here. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button.
Yeah, subscribe to Internash. It's a lot of value.
Or the channel.
All the
Yeah.
yes. Subscribe to Devarshi Desai's channels, please. The links
Yeah.
are going to be on the description.
And the podcast that we are doing and everything, right?
Everything, subscribe to everything, please, yes.
So that is what like just knowing what we want to convey is,
Yeah.
I think, a really important thing.
I just have a follow-up question on that,
Yeah.
right? So you actually 100K is not easy on YouTube.
Mm.
It's a tough gig because YouTube is a quality platform.
Yeah.
It's very like Instagram now.
It's an intentional platform.
Intention platform.
Because
Okay.
Google is the largest search engine.
Yes.
Which is the second largest search engine? YouTube. Right? What do you mean by search engine? People go
and search.
There is something in their head, there is an intention, and look for it. So then there is an intentional search. Enter, the videos come up. Right? So then what is the search engine optimization behind a video?
Yeah.
And how do you make sure that your videos show up there is what you have to study. So that's what I say when I started.
Right. And so you think 100% intention, number
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
What are some things that you found that absolutely worked for you on YouTube? That if someone's starting YouTube, is like, I want to grow my channel, I'm running a business or something like that, and they want to get good at YouTube.
Yeah.
What are a couple of things that you say off the bat that, man, you have to do this?
Yeah.
This is non-negotiable that you've learned like from all these stuff. Right?
Yeah. First is don't innovate.
Okay.
Okay. So let's give an example. I want to start a YouTube channel on, give me a product.
Like you're selling, say, digital marketing. Digital marketing.
Right.
Done.
So don't innovate. My first thing is I will type digital marketing Australia videos, enter, right? And then whatever the list come up, I look at the views that each one has. Make a note of this is the title, and this many views. This is the title, these many views. Now I have like bunch of topics. Because digital marketing is so vague that there'll be different. It's like SEO in digital marketing, social media in digital marketing. Now I have different topics, okay, which I know that is doing well. So now first topic, social media in Australia. Learn social media for your business in Australia. Enter. Another list of videos came up. I'm looking at title, views, and the length of video. Okay. Now I got to know that in social media there are like 3 more things, which is like, okay, people are just talking about TikTok, people are talking about Meta, people are talking about LinkedIn, right? So then I choose LinkedIn. That I want to start with. So digital marketing, social media,
so you niche
LinkedIn.
down. You niche down to a topic. Yeah.
And then I am talking about how to be an expert in LinkedIn. Got it. That is what I want to create next. How to be an expert at LinkedIn. Enter. 10 videos or like 100 videos show up. Again, same thing. Make a list of things, and then we note how many views do they have. Watch all of those videos. Because the only thing you have to do is create something better than already exists. I wasn't the first one to create content on international students. It already existed. What I did was, when I searched cost of living in Melbourne, I looked at all the videos and I was like, this is the only thing I need to do is better than what is out there. 10x better than what is out there. That's what I think CEO of Airbnb says.
Yeah.
And then I created the exact same thing, kept the title really similar. Why? Because if people are typing this and their video shows up because it has 700,000 views, the next video that will show up in their recommendation is something that has very similar title.
Right.
And that will be my video.
Got it.
And that's how people will go to my video.
Right.
And that will generate views. That will tell YouTube that this is something worth recommending. And that's how the start happens.
Beautiful. And when creating it, I mean, it's bloody work to create content, right? It's a lot of work to shoot it, to strategize it, and all of that. How did you go about that? Was it like, did you find it like tough, or did you find it like, now put a couple of cameras, shoot it, and you had to go? How did you find that process? Because
let me turn that around and ask you: do you think that this is the hardest thing you're doing, or this is something that's fun that you're doing when you do podcasts?
I love shooting the podcast.
Right. So you're doing it, even though it's hard work. You have to travel, you have to book a venue, you have to ask for guests. Somebody says yes, somebody says no, somebody is like, I want to meet you in 2 weeks, don't message me,
Oh
don't
yes, I had
respond to
that.
you,
Yep.
right? But you still do it. So even though it's hard work,
Right.
but you love it.
Yeah. Right.
So then hard work doesn't look like hard work.
Right.
Yeah.
So you find something that you find easy to do that you love,
Yeah.
that other people think it's hard work.
Or it's let's not bring other people in the
Right.
equation as well.
Give them.
It's
Okay.
like it's like something. Even though it's everything is hard work, man. Like everything. Like you going to gym, like lifting that like what 100 kg bench press. It's hard work,
Mm.
right? But you like it.
Mm.
And at the end of the day, we have to do things that we like.
Yeah.
Right? That's what it boils down to. And hopefully figure out that what I like has some value, potentially monetary value, so that I can do it for the rest of my life.
Got it.
Right?
Get paid for it as well. Yeah.
So it's hard, dude. Like putting out 2 videos is hard. But again, this one of these videos that I saw. It's like you have to choose your hard. It's like whether you go to gym and then have a really good physique, that's hard. Or you don't go to gym, don't make your body like fit or whatever, and your life is gonna be hard. So it's hard both ways. Right, but you have to choose which hard you want.
Hard you want, right?
Yeah, so it goes back to the content game. Like you do this every single week. You show up, whether it's online, whether it's in person. Like editing those things, it's hard, but as long as you love it, I think there is a lot more value to gain.
100%. I think when you're shooting your videos, I feel like you're extremely switched on about everything you say. There's a lot of passion behind it. I feel like there's a lot of work that goes into it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's given you a lot of enthusiasm, which is very hard to do. I think, like,
Yeah.
which is really good. I think it's
Yeah.
and you hustle, man, which a lot of people. They
I think you do it. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people do content for 3 months and they're like, it's a bit hard. Let me stop it.
Yeah.
But then you keep doing.
Yeah.
It requires a different level of, I guess, passion that you're doing. You're
Yeah.
enjoying it. You're
Yeah,
enjoying it.
exactly.
You get 0 views, but you're still doing it,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I'm absolutely love that. We're going to touch on this again on
Sure.
the content thing, but I want to pivot
Yeah.
a bit.
Let's do it.
Pivot the topic. We got a couple of students sitting here, if no one can see, but they are. And
Mhm.
there are a lot of questions that are popping up on their mind, and they want to ask Devarshi. We've discussed it before. I know you've been wanting to ask Devarshi as well, so I'm going to ask him.
Let's do it.
And if I haven't asked him, forgive me. You can put it in the comments. Okay, Devarshi. Obviously, you're having a migration consultancy.
Yeah.
Called
immigration law firm Studynash.
Studynash.
Yeah.
Right. Obviously, just a disclaimer you want to give that
I'm not the migration agent. We have migration agents and lawyers in the company.
Yeah.
But again, yeah, I help run the company.
Well, he's pretty much the face of the organization, to be honest. So he's pretty much spearheading that. But I want to get your opinion on a lot of things, right? The first one, and this is a question that I want to ask because I got my PR in 2022.
Oh, nice.
And it was not hard, but it was okay. It was. But I'm finding that, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm finding that nowadays students are finding it extremely hard to get. I had a lot of friends who they got rejected, right? They submitted the expression features, they got rejected.
Oh, wow.
And stuff like that. And they're unable to get a job. Leave the job thing aside, but just get the PR itself, right? Do you find that's happening with your clients as well? And why do you think that's happening, like in general?
So again, just to articulate the question, is it hard to get PR basically?
Is it
right?
hard to get?
Is
Is it becoming harder? And why is it becoming harder?
Right. Okay. So that's interesting. Let's go 20 years back. Right. We start with like 2005, and it was just so easy to get permanent residency. Right. And also, it's important to understand how does permanent residency work. So, in very very simple terms, Australia as a country, to run its economy, they need certain fields to do well. Okay. Let's say mining. Now, Australia knows that mining is really good. So they have mines, they have minerals, whatever. But we need to mine these things, right? And for mining, we need few people who are like whether mining engineers or everybody that comes there, right? Now the population is really less. Or we are like 25, 26 million people here. So then let's say mining engineer in Perth, there are only like 4,000 of those. But when Australia calculates that if we want to grow by this in this year, then 4,000 is not going to cut it off. We require 6,000. That's how occupation list is built.
Right.
That now we need 2,000 more mining engineers. Right?
Right.
So that's how the occupation list is built. Another thing is that a lot of people that we know, they get permanent residency into X and then work completely in a different field, right? We know a few people who do that,
including myself. Yes.
yeah. So now the calculation that they had done isn't necessarily going through, right?
Right.
That I gave these many mechanical engineers permanent residency thinking that they're going to work in mechanical engineering, but then some of them found other passions, which is very, very normal, right? So number one, how is occupation list made? And then also they look at, okay, what are the other things? So again, everything that I'm saying is available online, right? So I'm not saying anything confidential or whatever, but go look at the budget and the numbers that come out. I'll give you an example. In 2023, 2024, when I say 2023, 2024 is because in July the budget comes out. So half the year, the next one. So in 2023, 2024 and 2024, 2025, the one that we are in right now, employer-sponsored visas had increased drastically. Why? Because now if I'm giving you a permanent residency in mechanical engineering, and you are getting it through an employer, which means you're working as a mechanical
in
engineer.
that field, right?
Right, and that is the country is looking after its growth, right, which is very rightly so. So that's where the shift has happened. Okay. Another thing is number of people that has come to Australia has increased drastically in last few years, barring the COVID years. So now, and again, they still need to cap number of people that get permanent residency, right? So for example, it was 185,000 or 190,000, around that, right? So if there are 400,000 people applying for permanent residency and the seats are only 100,000, let's say, again, hypothetical numbers, then they're going to get the best 100,000 people.
Gotcha.
Right? When I say best, we are only talking about point tested visa and who has the higher points.
Higher points. Yeah.
So that is the logic why it has become harder. However, another problem which we are trying to solve, and probably could help out your friends as well there, is that there are ways. People only talk about like 15 occupations.
Yes.
Mechanical engineering and
Yes.
architecture and marketing and this. But nobody that I have seen is an expert going into fields that people don't talk about that Australia needs.
What are they?
So for example, okay, again, this happened in my company, but our migration agent helped them do it. Is they got a skill assessment as a swimmer, a swimming instructor. Okay. Yeah. How many swimming instructors do you know who got skill assessment in Australia?
Not one.
Right? So we only know people in like mechanical engineering and conventional fields. But there is so much more to the occupation field that people don't discuss. Or even the migration agent don't go into that detail because they know that, oh, I'll just do this, this, and this. So there is like so much crowd in 20 occupations that people know. And then 220 occupations people don't know about.
Where there's no people actually applying to those or even trying.
Exactly. So we need to figure that out, and that is what we want to solve through our company, right? Which is like, okay, you need to understand how things work.
Awesome, Devarshi. Thanks for answering all of those. And I just wanted to pivot from Internash, Studynash, and I want to get into the housing crisis that we're facing for international students, right? A lot of the international students are sort of being blamed, and that even in the Senate, they've been talking about tightening the laws of international students coming into Australia. Are they the reason for the housing crisis and the cost of living crisis that we're facing? I mean, obviously, we saw some videos where you have attended a lot of conferences regarding that.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that? Like on this whole thing?
Okay, so we have seen a lot of articles that talks about international students are the reason for housing crisis in Australia. Okay, the next thing is to investigate whether this is true or not. When we look into stats for this, the stats is that out of total housing market, international students only consume 4% of housing market.
Only 4%.
Only 4%. And that includes purpose-built accommodation. Purpose-built is the hostels.
The student accommodation, yeah.
That includes that. Okay. So they are not the reason for housing crisis. But nobody wants to go into extreme details and see, the numbers.
Why is it? Stuff like that, yeah.
But at the same time, if you look at why does housing crisis exist, it's like after COVID, a lot of people have lost the will to live in major cities. right? And with the rise of working from home, why will I pay the rent of Sydney when I can live in Adelaide and just 30-minute difference, time difference, and work in the same company? The amount of money that I'm saving is insane, right? So interstate migration has gone up drastically.
100%.
Right. And also like that's something that we have discussed before is like the prices that have gone up of just everything. So the cost of building houses has also gone up. So if the cost of building houses has gone up, which means number of people building the houses is not going to be as much, right? So but people are still coming in. So now it's very easy to make international student a scapegoat that they are the reason for housing crisis. But look at the stats and see if that's true. It's proven. A lot of research paper is done that international students are not the reason.
Yeah.
But it's just something that is not as clickable,
Yeah.
or the opposite of that is not going to get votes. So it's not promoted.
So essentially, the main reason they're making them as scapegoats is because it's easy for the elections and to kind of like throw them under the bus.
Yeah.
And treat them as. I feel like that's just dehumanizing. I feel like.
We have seen this, right? We have seen this in a lot of countries. Whether it's America, that make America great again and make immigrants a villain, right? Or some other countries where religion minority is targeted to win votes. So we it's a formula that we have seen in a lot of countries work. And I think that's what's happening. But again, it's also a responsibility of international students and migrants and people like you and me who does the research, and it's our responsibility to put out the right messaging.
Yeah. Yeah. So people are actually aware of what's going on. They're living under a bubble. Because then you can actually target. Because I'm completely agree with you. Because in Sydney, it was a mad housing crisis during COVID that everyone came to Brisbane. Brisbane prices shot up.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, then Adelaide, people are moving to Adelaide left, right, and center. And everyone's like, it's international students. But I'm like, yeah, but you do know there's more Australians than international students in the country, right?
100%.
And I feel like also like for international students from an income perspective as well, they struggle. So they get 2-3 living in the same house, right? 4-5 living in the same house. So I don't know how that actually contributes to a housing crisis in any way.
As I mentioned, it's less than 4% is what the stat is. And think of it, okay? Think of number of international students, right? Probably let's say 500,000 or 600,000 people on temporary residency visa. Let's say another 400, 500,000.
Yeah.
Right? And then rest is permanent resident who we are not blaming. Rest is citizens who we are not blaming. Okay, so this is around a mil, or let's say like 1.2 mil. Okay, so what is the total population of Australia?
28-30 mil.
Yeah, so let's say 25 mil just for the sake of it, right? 10% is 2.5 mil, 5% is 1.25 mil. So when we talked about international students or migrants or people who are on visa, they're less than 5% of the country. How can less than 5% of the country talk about the housing crisis of the whole country? When you look at the numbers, it's not going to make sense. But the headlines look good, and it makes people feel good who feel that immigrants shouldn't be there. So that's why it's escalating.
I don't want to sound controversial, but this is my take. I feel like there's a lot of people who shift blame onto the government and others instead of taking ownership of their own lives, which is a harder thing to do, as we spoke. It's hard to be like, I'm the reason that I'm in this stage. Like, okay, there's an external factor that's causing it. It's very easy to shift blame. And what's also interesting is after mining, Australia gets a lot of income from international students. Like the economy.
Third largest export of Australia is education.
I mean, the economy runs on that. So, like
40 to 50 billion dollars they earn, and international education creates 250,000 jobs.
Wow,
which is huge. Like because of international students and stuff. Because let's say there are like 500,000 international students, they got a place to stay, they gotta eat, they'll go to restaurants, they'll go buy groceries, they'll help with economy in that way. Then they'll also do entertainment, right? So go for movies, go for bars, pubs, etc. So that is helping the economy create jobs.
100%.
And that's happening through having international students. And we're forgetting that they're also paying fees. They're also paying rent.
Tax.
They're paying tax, the most important thing, right? But again, when we write these things, this is detailed stuff. It doesn't make a good headline.
No.
So yeah, that's what international students are facing, the heat, and elections doesn't help.
Jordan Peterson said this beautifully. He said this, and he it sums up what Jordan Peterson. He said like having simplified explanations for complex issues is extremely dangerous.
Yeah, 100%. That's
Yeah.
very well put.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
so again, we have to go into detail and understand why the problems exist. But yeah, international students are not the reason.
Do you think like obviously we spoke about I think we spoke about international students coming to Australia and being a place to live, right? Like you're having a migration consultancy, and
Yeah.
like for there are probably people watching out there who are like, oh, should I in India or in Sri Lanka? They're
Yeah.
like, should I go to the UK? Should I go to US? They look very
Yeah.
nice, And like Australia, really Australia? Why do I need to go to Australia? What do you think? Why do you think someone should come to Australia as compared to being like I can go to the UK or US,
Yeah.
or I can go to Canada?
Yeah.
You came to Australia, I came.
Yeah.
We know why it's good,
Yeah.
but why should they come now? What do you
Why?
think?
What are your reasons? Why do you love Australia?
I'll be very honest. I love Australia first bluntly because of the money it pays me.
Yeah,
Like
nice.
very straightforward. The
Yeah.
salary gap is pretty good.
Yeah.
I do live comfortably. I can go out and eat. I can go and meet my friends. If I want
Yeah.
to buy a drink here and there, or it's
Or
very
save.
safe, very
Yeah.
very spendable. Lifestyle is good.
Mm-hmm.
There's plenty of sporting facilities, gyms, and all that, which I love. It's recent, like relatively safe.
Yeah.
It's not.
I agree.
There's obviously crime, but it's relatively safe as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I think.
And the air we breathe.
Air we breathe as well.
Yeah. So the pollution is a lot
Compared to
less.
some places in the world.
Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
talk about like some of the places in India.
Yeah.
It's getting bad. They're working on it. It's
Yeah.
getting better, but still, like
That was horrible. Man. I've seen
yeah,
videos.
it's a bit hard. Even in Bangladesh and Pakistan and stuff, like South Asia, right? It's a economy is developing a lot faster in South Asia than the technology is keeping up for the whole country. So that is what it is, right? So
Wow.
so like 1.4 billion people. India is growing rapidly and stuff, but at the same time, it's really hard to have parameters that would have clean air for the whole country. I think that's where we are at. So like that is a benefit here, which is like only 25-30 million people. Everybody has enough space for everything and pretty green. So that helps. Again, I think for me it was an elimination process.
Okay.
Okay. So as somebody who wants to study abroad, I looked at all the countries, right? So let's see what are the countries that we look for. We look at the US, we look at Canada, we look at UK, we look at Australia, and then we look at a lot of other countries like Germany, Poland, and all those countries are coming up as well. And it depends, right? What kind of lifestyle do you want?
Yeah.
I wanted to go to a major country,
Yeah.
right? So then I narrowed down US, UK, Canada, and Australia. Then I know for the matter of fact, I can't deal with cold weather.
Yeah.
Like I just hate it.
So Canada is out.
Yeah, Canada is out.
Canada is
so
out.
now I'm
That-
just left with 3.
Yeah.
UK's economy was really bad in 2016, 17 when I was just thinking it wasn't necessary. Like Indian economy is doing so much better, right? So I would rather stay in India rather than
Yeah. People are moving from UK to Australia.
exactly. So
Yeah.
that's that. So I removed UK as a. Now it became US and Australia. And US was my first option. But if you want to study business, it doesn't allow you to stay in the country for like 3 years.
Yeah.
What it does with STEM occupation.
Right.
Or like engineering and
Yes.
science and maths and stuff.
Yeah.
So then if I'm spending $100,000 or more, and then I'm not able to recover any, then I don't come from that much money that I can afford it. It's as simple as that, right? So then I removed that. So then the only option that was left was Australia, right? And lack of my research, the only cities that I knew was Melbourne and Sydney, right? So that's what I did, and that's how I ended up here.
That's crazy. No, that's a nice elimination process. I recommend students to come to Australia as well.
Yeah,
It's
100%.
a nice place to live, and
Yeah.
it's fun.
Lifestyle is good,
Lifestyle is good.
especially if somebody is outdoorsy. That really helps. What else? Like it's just people are nice for the most part.
And do you think people get a fair shot? I mean, I think they do,
Yeah.
but it's a fair shot as well, right?
Yeah.
You get a fair go at things.
100%.
You get a fair go at like work. I mean, there is.
Yeah.
This one transition is. Do you think like people are thinking and they're scared? Like people are always scared. Is there racism? Is there like racism in the workplace? Am I gonna come? Are you gonna look at me and have my brown skin or dark
Yeah.
skin? And is it gonna be like, is my name going to be like, oh, this guy isn't, Indian or some surname, which is completely fair. Like, do you think that exists here? If you can highlight, run us through that.
It existed 25 years back, very prominently, right? Like 20 years back, I never heard anybody going to Australia. But now, and again, if there is a hypothesis, we need to look at data. It's one Google search away that how many, put a country's name, people from this country, so how many Indians live in Australia. So, for example, if we just talk about brown people, and because I'm Indian, I'm talking about in India. India is the second highest migrant population growing in Australia. Okay. So, like, close to, like, soon in few years, it'll be like 1 million Indians in Australia.
That's insane.
That's huge, right? So it's not like, you're from a country where people haven't even heard of that. Right? So it is growing population. So now what does that do? That does two things. Okay. First is that people are aware of your country, your background, etc. Like when we watch Hollywood movies, we think that we know a bit about US. Right? That's what it does. So people are going to be aware. So all those things which I'm brown, people are going to look at me funny. If I wear, let's say, kurta or whatever, are people not going to like look at me funny or whatever? I had those questions. It doesn't. People know. Like you're not the first Indian to come here, buddy. You're 1.4 billion there, and there is a billion here, right? So calm down. Right? So calm down there. Second, I mean, you don't feel you're so special. You're not. Okay. So that's one part. And second is, let's say there are still a lot of part where people are not exposed to people of color, right? And that's where you hold the responsibility to educate them that who you are, where you come from, what kind of food do you eat or whatever. For example, let's say, again, just giving an example of India, when people talk about Indian food, they only talk about North Indian food. Like butter chicken. That's it. Right? They don't talk about, and India, every state has its own culture, own clothing, own food, own language, but they only talk about butter chicken. Right? Because that's the only thing that they're exposed to. So Indians hold the responsibility to empower and educate people. It's just like, yo, have you tried dosa? Right?
I think we have a South Indian here who will agree. Yeah, we have dosa idli, man. What are you talking about?
Bro, I love dosa.
I love dosa too.
Yeah, man. So that's what it's like. So as an Indian person, I'll take my international friends to like, yo, let's today not eat butter chicken. Okay. First of all, stop eating butter chicken. There's so many more curries that you should try.
Butter chicken and naan. Everyone wants to eat butter chicken and naan.
That's it. We hold the responsibility as well as like, I'll take you to a good Sri Lankan food, or I'll take you to, I'll cook good Sri Lankan food, stuff like that.
I wanted to ask you, like, it just popped up in my head now. You've been here for a while, right?
Yeah.
And that's really good value, by the way. So, I actually wore the Muslim Islamic jubba and went to Eid. I mean, he was there and all the Eid prayer. And it was all right. I went to shops and everyone was like, treated me like a normal human being.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they know it. They've watched enough movies, they've seen it. You're not being alien. You're going to be fine.
Exactly.
And I'm working in a company as well where I'm the only Sri Lankan there, and people are okay, man. They're not, as long as you're doing right by people and you're honest and you're straightforward, I think. Okay, every country has assholes. It's not every country has. Every country has it, and that's completely fine. I want to ask you, what are your three what are three things you like absolutely love about Australia? And give me a few things that you're like, I wish this didn't exist in Australia.
That's a good one. What do I love about Australia? I think the outdoorsy lifestyle.
Yeah,
bro. I come from Ahmedabad, Gujarat.
Yeah.
We are not well known for our fitness.
Right.
We're not.
Why is that?
Bro, like, we are well known for a lot of things, and making money is one of those. No, I'm serious.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, like 50% of billionaires in India are Gujaratis. Yeah.
What?
However, none of them are fit. Like zero.
Yeah.
Right? So, but when you come here, like, I have lived in inferiority complex when I see people like 6 feet, giant with abs.
Oof.
It's either you're like giant or whatever, right? And have abs, but then you won't do marathons.
Yeah.
I came to Australia. I know so many people who go to gym, bulked up, and then run faster
I
than you
know.
for 42
I
kilometers.
know. That's mental. I've seen that happen with my own eyes. That's crazy.
Yo, I was like,
Insane fitness.
who are these people, right? So like, just orientation towards fitness is something that I think I love about
It's
Australia.
huge.
Yeah.
Everyone's. I mean, sir, for a country of 28 million, they're competing in the world against
Yeah,
I mean,
300 million.
300 million.
Or like China being 1.3 billion.
Mate, they're
Right?
going to the World Cups, they're qualifying athletics. It's insane.
Yeah, so
Insane.
the sports and athleticism is one thing that I have to give to Australia.
Yeah.
Right? Second is the weather.
Yeah.
Like,
weather's
bro,
good.
you can't go wrong with it.
Yeah.
Like the beaches and the weather and the lifestyle that you want, like so good.
I love it.
Right? I think
It doesn't
that
get
is-
better, man. It doesn't.
Yeah, it does
It
not
does not
get
get
better.
better. It does not get
Yeah,
better.
yeah, I can't. And third is just like safety.
Yeah.
We were talking about US, right? You're not worried about somebody carrying gun at all. It
No.
doesn't cross your mind.
Hmm.
In US, like I have friends and then they're like, yeah, don't really mess in the streets or whatever. You don't know somebody's gonna
Yeah.
shoot you.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that doesn't even occur in your mind.
Yeah.
Right? So I think those are the things that I really, really like about Australia. What I don't like is it's not about Australia. It's personal thing that growing up in India or like South Asia, probably you can relate to it. We come from a collective society, or that's what it's called. It's like
I get what you're
you know,
going with this.
it's
Yes.
like
Yes. Yes.
it's
Yes.
not
Yes.
just me, my mom and dad. It's me, us, and the neighbors, and the extended relatives, and their best friends, and so a kid is raised by a village. That is what the
Yes.
saying is,
Yes.
and that's what we see in South Asia, right? Whereas you come here, and I hope somebody solves this problem. If not, probably we should work on it. Is that like loneliness is a real thing, and people experience it once they come here.
100%.
Right? And it's not necessarily once they come here. I think it's the age also. Like you're adulting, a lot of dopamine boost is not coming. You don't know what to do. You're trying to figure it out. Everybody in their late 20s go through this, but especially when you're an international student, you feel the loneliness to the core, you know. And because this is an individualistic society, that's why everybody's individually feeling that, but nobody's really working on it. You know what I mean? So I think that is somewhere what
Yeah.
I think we can make a difference as
Yes.
well.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Do you
I'm with you on this one. I feel like you couldn't have hit the nail better on the coffin because it was. I felt that when I came here. I came to Australia and I was
yeah.
working a job, studying at the same time, living in a house with people I didn't know.
Yeah.
And it was like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Until then, I was like, I need to live with my friends because then
Yeah.
it's a bit more. I completely agree. Back at home, because I grew up in Qatar, we had
Yeah.
we had neighbors, they give food to us,
Yeah.
come over the weekend and all that. And I feel like that is lost. Like I don't even know who lives like
Neighbor.
I don't know who lives next door. And I think that's a very interesting problem, and it's a real problem because international students they come from all that, joint family vibes, and they
Yes.
suddenly come here and they're like, oh shit, I got to do everything by myself,
Yeah.
and I have
It's
to.
hard.
It's hard, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And also, like for example, if I show up to your door unannounced, if it's in Sri Lanka, it's like, yeah, bro, come up,
Come
right?
in,
Whatever.
yeah.
Here it's like, wait, is everything all right? Like, why are you showing up? Like, that's the culture here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like you can't just show up to somebody's house unannounced because what if they're doing something? I don't want to be a hindrance, whatever. I go to Ahmedabad and I just rock up at my friend's place and it's like I am hindrance to you. I know it, but I have that right over you because you are my that close friend, and we're gonna go out do something, and they don't feel bad about it. They're like, okay, cool, let's go.
Yeah. Just
You know?
come eat in my house. Come
Yeah,
do whatever you
we'll hang
want.
out.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I don't have anything to do. Doesn't matter. Just sit here. I'll do my thing. You do your thing. But then we're hanging out.
100%.
So I think that is something that we don't have here. Again, something we can work on. However,
How do you think we can work on that?
there is a really good saying which says, "World is full of lonely people waiting to say hello."
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's the hello that this is a dialogue from a movie called Green Book, I think. Like I think won Oscar or something in 2021. But like one of my all-time favorite movie. And that this is so it's just there's so many lonely people, right? So then we just have to figure out how do we make a comfortable space for them to come together and give them a good experience.
I agree.
If we can solve this problem, I think
I think when you speak about that, two things come in my head, right? Number one is in Melbourne there was a Wish Kid community that they started. You know, a couple of the
How good
influence
is that?
that's just
Yeah.
Sar Singh and some of the other
Yeah,
guys,
yeah,
right? That's a pretty cool thing. I also saw, I don't know if you know this, but there was this guy who was a like Islamic speaker and whatnot,
yeah.
and he would do this habit where every time when he goes home
Yeah.
from work, he would call 5 people.
Oh, wow.
He would call 5 people in his call list, and it'd be different people every single day. Just a
No
voice note, be like,
way.
"Hey, bro, how are you going? Just want to check up on you. Hope everything's okay."
Wow.
He'd do this habit, 5 people every single day.
Dude, that's insane.
Mate, and he would say, and you know how many people would be like, "Man, how much you doing? Good. Do you want to catch up and stuff like that?"
Yeah.
And he
Thanks for
said,
the call.
"Thanks for the call."
Yeah.
And that is a habit. And I was sitting with him, and I was like, "What is he doing? He's just sending voice notes to random people or calls." And
Wow.
what he told me was like, "Man, there are people looking at their phone, hoping for someone to at least call or message them."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Man, that is an awesome thing. That's an
Dude, I've
awesome thing.
never heard this before, but I love it.
It's insane."
I love this.
And he's absolutely loved by everyone. And
Yeah.
when he someone, I was on a call, he called someone, "Hey, how you doing?" That guy started blurting out all the problems. "Man, thanks you call, man. I have this in my life, that in
So
my
good,
life."
bro.
So I feel like that is something proactive, as you said. Say hello.
Yeah.
Be
Yeah.
like, "Hey, how you going?" You know,
Yeah.
ask them about that. And I love what you said.
I did. So with Internash, with all the YouTube and everything, we did bunch of events in 2019.
Okay.
And then I worked with federal government and state government, Victorian government, to do a lot of events for international students in 2020, 2021, 2022.
I love that.
So we
Love
kept
that.
doing it. Then last year, I was tired of people doing panel discussion and stuff, honestly. So last year, what I did was I launched a series called Screw Up Stories, where you can come to the event only if you're going to share your most screwed up story.
I love that.
So that's how people become friends and bond with each other.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. That is really good.
Yeah.
I think you should do more. Are you doing more in Adelaide?
Probably I'm planning to do more, but yeah.
So
Maybe we could do it together.
How can they know about it? On Instagram?
Instagram, man. Instagram, follow Internash,
Okay.
and then hopefully we'll post something.
We'll do something. 100%
Yeah.
we'll do something. I'm keen. I wanted to ask you, so now that we've gone all of that, you got a business, right?
Yeah.
You produce a lot of content.
Mm.
Do you get a lot of sales, not sales, I want to say, do you get a lot of people seeking help out of the content, or is there more, what's the process like for you to acquire clients? Like, I'm just curious
Yeah.
if that's okay.
And I think that's for every business owner, right? One of the things that I've seen a lot of business owner do is become content creators.
Yeah.
And that's the shift that has only happened in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And it's really funny. It's really funny to see because I'm content creator turned a business.
I think you're
an
more a
entrepreneur, right?
natural person
Yeah.
on camera.
But then somebody who's an entrepreneur, now they have to create
Yeah.
content, right? So and the reason why this has happened is because people see value,
Yeah.
right? Today, I don't want to buy a product from a company that I know nothing about. I want to know the founder. I want to know the team. So it really helps when you're on camera and you're running a business. It has helped us because our community is everything for us. You know, it's how do we provide value to people? That's everything to us. And if we can do it well and we can show it through our content, so that definitely helps. But apart from that, also when people reach out to us, how good are we in talking to them? How good we can give the experience? I think that really.
When you say community, where do they reside? Like, is it like a particular? Do you have like a group, or is it like like an email list that you send out? Or
Yeah.
how is that managed?
I actually have everything.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I started with YouTube,
Yep.
and then Internash had its Facebook group, which had like 30,000 plus people.
Wow.
And then it has its Instagram, and then we have a newsletter. And I really want to be Internash. Basically, Internash is just a community. That's what it is. Internash is a community for international students and migrants. So, like, international is where the Internash word comes from, right? And that's what I want it to be. I don't want it to be like, oh, this is like I'm generating this much profit, this, that, whatever, right? If you have a problem and you reach out to this community and you can get help, I think that would be like really cool, right? So that is what. So even
Just
when
building
you do,
goodwill, just goodwill.
yeah, and obviously I'm not this, like, I am going to figure out ways to monetize it, because if let's say you are helping me with that, then I don't want you to help without any monetization return, right? So there has to be. So that's what a social enterprise is, which is like we are going to make money, but then we invest it in the business itself, because we don't want to make $1 million or like $10 million through this, because it's for the right reasons. And I have Studynash, right? I have immigration law firm, we have migration agents, we have immigration lawyers. education consultants, and that's what the business is that we run day in day out.
And it's a good way from that community then people to refer that. It's
Yeah.
like, cause that's what Gary will say, jab, 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 right hook. Then you
Yeah.
give value, and then you
Exactly.
can ask. Yeah. 100.
Yeah, and it came from the need of our community, right? Like they're like every time they would go to somebody and it's like, oh, this is the problem. I don't know how to solve it. I go to a few migration agents, but I'm not satisfied. I was like, this is a very real problem. How can we build a company that is trusted by all, that gives unbelievable service, and then we can help people the most?
Man, those three things you mentioned is
Yeah.
very basic, but a lot of people don't do it.
Yeah.
It's a sad reality. But
Yeah.
if you are doing that, man, that's epic.
That's what the goal is.
Yeah.
So working towards it.
No, that's all. How does someone join the community?
For now, the easiest thing is just follow Internash, right?
Okay.
On Instagram.
Okay.
You follow and you stay updated. You know, send a message, hi, somebody will respond from the team, and yeah, that's how. And then hopefully we're hoping to do more events across the country, and that's how we'll engage the community more.
You know, if you have any more questions, either DM me or you
Yeah.
can even. I actually DM'd Devarshi and he actually responded. So he's pretty approachable guy. So don't be afraid. He's a lovely guy. So I just wanted to also. This was awesome, Devarshi, but I have one question for it's a bit of a loaded question.
Yeah.
But I ask a lot of people this, and I'm really curious. Right now, we have chatted about a lot of things, right? This is about you. Where does what stage in life you'd reach where you'd be like in 5 years? You're like, I'm successful. Like I'm successful. What needs to happen? What should have happened? Or are you already there? Oh, you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
What,
It's a really good question.
yeah.
Do you have an answer to that?
My answer is. Do you want me to answer it first? Yeah, I can answer that. Ideally, by 5 years, I want to have grown to at least 1 million subscribers on either YouTube or Instagram.
Then you'll feel you have made it.
And I've given a lot of value to that 1 million subscribers, not for the sake of just posting funny videos just to get views.
Entertainment.
I want to build like people that actually get value out of what I'm giving them my advice, and they're getting value.
Yeah.
And monetization wise, I would lie if I say I don't want to monetize. I do, but I don't have any. That's not even a success metric for me yet. I think it's more like reach is what I'd like to do. Yeah, reach.
Right. That's a very good one, man. I hope you reach there in 5 years. And
Maybe. We'll see.
work towards it. What does success look like for me? Actually, you know what? The definition has changed a lot.
Okay.
From wanting a mansion and a G-Wagon and a Range Rover, it has changed a bit to I want to be happy as well while I do those things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, because once you're in this, right, you see a lot of miserable rich people, and I don't want to be a miserable rich person. So, I'm still figuring out what that looks like, right? What does a happy rich person, fulfilled life looks like? One thing that I want to keep doing is I want to help migrants, people who move to a new country. I want to just build a community and businesses that provides value to people. If it's permanent residency or visa services, that's one for now. But if we can find other problems to solve and do it, I think, solving problem for international students, migrants would be something that really excites me, because I have been there, right? And I've been international student, you have been international student, you have been migrant, you know the problems, you know the struggles, whether it's loneliness or not getting a job or finances or investments or whatever. So if I can solve problem and build sustainable business out of it, and then run it and provide like just immense value to people, I think that would be pretty cool.
That's well said. That's very well said.
Yeah.
I just wanted to ask one more question, sir.
Yeah, let's do it.
So someone coming new to Australia, right?
Yeah.
They don't know. Probably they check this video out. They're like, oh, what are some things that you've gone through? You'd be like, say top 3 things that say they need to look out for. Like either look out for, or be on top of, or you advise them. Be like, hey man, if when you came, you wanted those 3 things. What would you say to them off the top of your head? Like, you know.
Yeah. I think first is just build really long-lasting relations
Okay.
with your friends.
Okay.
Majority of the friends that I have today, I have had them since like the first year that I came to Australia.
Yeah.
And we have worked hard to maintain that. And this has been 7-8 years, right? And it's the same friends, and you've seen them grow and stuff. So like maintaining friendship is really important, and that is what is going to keep you from being lonely and just the things that comes with that. Second is just work your ass off.
Work your ass off.
Yeah, like why are you here if you don't want to work hard? Like otherwise stay in your country, stay in your city, stay with your childhood friends in your parents' house and be happy. That's also amazing. In fact, that life is so much better than the struggles that we do here.
100%.
Right?
100%.
But now you're here.
So they might as well get
So
on
may
with
as
it.
well like, yo, just give your 100%, right?
Yeah.
So I think that would be the second thing. Yeah. Can't think of a third one. Can you add a third one?
Yeah, I think I can add a third one. Is not be afraid to ask for help.
Oh,
Just ask.
that's a very good one,
I
dude.
think that's one thing. Just ask. Just you see anyone, ask them.
That's
I think
so good.
I've got a lot of things that I've gotten through asking people, and I think that's
Yeah.
one thing I would add. If there's something else you want to add, more than happy to.
Nah, I think I love this.
Yeah.
This is really good.
Yeah, because I feel like you don't know a lot, I don't know a lot. There are a lot of people. You can don't be afraid to say hi to new people as well. Is
Yeah.
one thing I'd say. Like you said, long lasting friendships, 100%.
Yeah.
Just say hi to people and have a
Build
chat.
friendships.
Build friendship. People are, I want to stay in my little
Yeah.
cocoon. No, you can expand that. I feel like so. Yeah, that was one. I wanted to end with a rapid fire round.
Okay.
Just a quick 5 questions as
Yeah.
well, right? In or out, chai or coffee.
Coffee.
Okay.
What's yours? You have to answer as well. It's just kind of,
chai, chai, done.
Chai?
Chai. I'm
Oh,
a chai
no,
person.
okay. Fair enough.
I'll drink coffee, but chai is the preference.
Yeah, fair.
What is your guilty pleasure?
My guilty pleasure?
Yeah.
It's watching reels. Bro, not even joking. I feel so guilty. I was like, I've spent an hour just scrolling. And I know it's wrong. I was like, oh my god.
So Devarshi Desai also doing scrolls. Breaking news.
Bro, it's so bad. What's yours?
Mine is it's a guilty pleasure or not. I scroll LinkedIn a lot.
Oh,
man.
wow.
Way too much than I'm supposed to scroll. I spent 3 hours just reading every post, checking where the person is from, what experience they
Bro,
have.
you know what this answer
That is
was?
so crazy.
It's like in a job interview when somebody asks, oh, what's your weakness? I'm a very hard worker. Bro, LinkedIn is not your guilty pleasure. That is, I'm not buying that.
No, people.
Bro, come on. Nah.
Okay,
You're using it like Facebook.
I'll say another one. Maybe TikTok. TikTok is my guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
But bro, if you check my screen time on my phone,
On LinkedIn?
3 to 4 hours LinkedIn, 1
wow.
hour Instagram, 1 hour TikTok. But it's all on social media. That's my
Fair
guilty
enough.
pleasure. That's a guilty pleasure.
Yeah, okay.
Another question I have for you is what is one dish, your most favorite dish that you'd be like, I can eat this for the rest of my life?
You have eaten pav bhaji, right?
Pav bhaji. Yeah.
And vada pav?
Vada pav. Yeah.
Yeah,
That
dude.
you want that. That's
Street
it.
food, bro.
Rest of your life.
I mean, it's not healthy or whatever. It's not for the rest of my life. But yeah, man. It's like when I want to go and eat something that's trash and just for the
Unhealthy.
taste,
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
go and eat.
Yeah,
Come
yeah.
back. I mean, bread has carbs and also.
For me, it's lamb mandi.
Oh, yeah?
I love lamb mandi, bro. It's crazy. There's a restaurant called
I
Shah.
don't know what a lamb. Like I don't eat lamb, but I don't know what a lamb
It's
mandi
like a lamb biryani, but
is. Okay,
it's
so
like
it's a rice dish with lamb in it.
yes.
Okay.
It's like a biryani style, but made in like Afghanistan kind of thing.
Oh,
Man.
oh really?
You're vegetarian?
I eat chicken.
You eat chicken, yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. This chicken mandi also, but
Okay.
it's really good. I want to ask you one more question. If there's one place in the world you want to be right now, like I'm saying, like you want to visit like right now, where would that be?
There's this dude who does podcasts in Adelaide.
Are you talking about his
I'm there right now.
That's a good one. That's
No,
a good
dude,
one.
I'm happy where I am.
That's great.
Do you want to go somewhere else?
No, we can go for a meal after this.
Yeah, don't fucking say that. Otherwise, I'll feel offended. It's like this guy is here, he wants to go somewhere else. It's like, what the hell?
No, all good. And
Yeah.
is there one person you want to have a meal with, dead or alive? Like someone you're like, I really want to have, like I want to have a conversation with or a meal with,
Yo, I've been fanboying, like I'm quite a big fan of Naval Ravikant now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
That guy's
I
good.
think that guy's interesting.
He's really good.
Yeah, and I have read his book, I've gone through his podcasts. I don't, yeah, I think it'll be interesting. But another thing with this thing is, which is like, I don't want it to be like us asking questions and stuff, right? So, like, I think one person that I would want to be friends with, I think that person, like, I think there'll be a lot to gain.
Nawal Ravikant.
Yeah.
Why is that? What mainly attracted you to him? What about him that you find like really fascinating?
He is, so one thing that I differentiate is like somebody who's born abroad and somebody who's born in South Asia. I think that those two are very different breeds, even though you're brown, but it's different.
Yeah.
Okay. So Naval Ravikant was born in India and then went to the US and then got into investing, Silicon Valley and stuff. He was early investor of Uber and like CEO of AngelList. So like entrepreneur and very celebrated investor. And then he talks about philosophy and happiness, which is like, I've made money, I understand what it is, but then I want you to help. I want to help you guys reach that level as well. So how do I do that? And some of the concepts he talk about is very well thought of. I think that is what I like about Naval Ravikant.
Did he say the one where he said you do marketing because you're not good at product, and you do sales because you're not good at marketing? Something like, was it him or someone else?
I actually not I have not heard of that one. but
Maybe
probably
some
he could
maybe
have
some
said it.
random reel I saw.
Nah,
at
but
some point.
he got his fame from like Joe Rogan, I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I think his tweets went viral.
Yeah.
Something called How to Be Rich or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
And then he went on Joe Rogan and then he has just done a round of like podcasts and stuff.
Love that. Love
Yeah.
that.
Who's your person you want to go?
Oh, that's a tough one, man. Let me think. There's one person I really wanted to meet, but I forgot who that was. Wait. Let me think. Give me 10 seconds that I want to meet this person. I really want to meet this guy who I know it sounds really cliche, but Logan Paul.
Yeah.
You know why? Because that guy is a killer marketer, bro. I really want to pick his brain. Like, I want to sit down with Logan Paul and ask him all the questions.
Yeah.
You saw what he did with Prime. It's
Yeah.
insane. It's
Yeah.
mad. Maybe
It's
people have different opinions on his character, but he's a genius marketer, bro.
Yeah.
He's
I
obviously
agree.
a lot of clickbait stuff he does, but
he knows how to do it.
he knows how to do it. It's smart cookie.
not easy.
Very smart cookie.
Yeah.
Awesome. On that note, thank you so much, bro. That was really good.
Legend,
I think people watching would have got so much value.
Yeah. It's a great conversation. So
100%.
you're pretty good at that.
And guys, we're gonna put Devarshi's Instagram on the description. We're gonna put his Studynash, Internash, all the links below. Give him a follow on LinkedIn as well. Follow his content. There's a lot of value that he's giving on YouTube as well. We can put all the links, and also subscribe to the channel. Let me know who you'd like on next. Also, let me know what questions that I might have missed asking Devarshi. You can DM me. I'll ask him and I'll post the questions on. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Hope you have a good day. If you're in Australia, it's probably evening. But yeah, thank you, Devarshi. It's a pleasure.
Thanks for having me.
All done, boss.